What time is it? What time is it? I'm still wearing my Christmas jumper, so it must be, December 31st, right. Well, we've still got time to run through January's biggest PlayStation games. Let's get to it. Hi there guys, it's Aaron here from Push Square, and in case you haven't already heard me say it already, I hope you indeed had a very Merry Christmas. Of course, but because we're still in that kind of wishy-washy period that is the time between Christmas and New Year, it doesn't mean that the PlayStation releases need slowed down. So, join me on this journey to cover what big PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games are set to come out in January, the first month of the new year. Let's take a look. Kicking January off in style is a game that no PlayStation gamer should miss. Not least because it's being gifted to PlayStation Plus subscribers for free, as Deep Rock Galactic launches day and date on PS4 and PS5 this January 4th. Excitingly, Sony has already begun hyping up Deep Rock Galactic's PlayStation debut, and for good reason too. This is a procedural co-op first-person shooter primed to have you and friends blasting, mining, and scavenging resources for hours on end, all while playing as a gang of spacefaring dwarves working on behalf of the titular organisation. There are 4 different class types to try out in total, ranging from the gunner, who is great for taking point in order to prevent the team from being overwhelmed, to the driller, whose reinforced mole armour rig allows him to take a beating without ever taking focus off of, well, drilling. Being successful and escaping the planet in time means working together as these various different dwarf types and keeping the alien menace at bay. Just how long will your squad last? Find out when Deep Rock Galactic comes to PS4 and PS5 this January 4th. Action RPG meets immersive sim this January 11th, when Weird West launches simultaneously on PS4 and PS5 too. It's hoping to continue the recent resurgence of cowboy-centric adventures on PlayStation, challenging you to make decisions in this dark fantasy reimagining of the Great Frontier across 5 unique character journeys. You'll start off as wronged bounty hunter Jane Bell, who sets out on a quest of revenge against those who kidnapped her son. This is just the first of many different destinies set to intertwine in Weird West though, until eventually all will converge in its final chapter. The world is very much your playground in Weird West, as developer Wolf Eye Games has promised fully interactable environments that can be messed with in order to help your character achieve his or her goal. This means being able to loot bodies, set things on fire, manage inventory items, and more. Such gameplay flexibility feeds into Weird West being a dedicated immersive sim, as well as a more conventional RPG experience. It's just one that happens to play out from an isometric view. PlayStation players can dive into this unique genre blend from January 11th. Having originally launched back in 2016 for iOS and Android devices, PS4 players will finally get to jump into the woodland world of Mushroom Wars 2 when it launches this January 13th. This is one that's remained a popular favourite amongst die-hard real-time strategy fans, not least due to its mixture of thoughtful tactics and unabashedly playful tone. Needless to say, if you're looking for a strategy game that takes itself almost too seriously, you won't find it here in Mushroom Wars 2. Instead, you'll find a fast-paced RTS where you get to command armies of funny fungi creatures. Mushroom Wars 2 improves upon its predecessor with new hero characters and a 100-strong mission campaign. That said, its overall intention is to cultivate tactical matches that are deep but also simple, hoping to educate newcomers to the genre on all the basics of RTS, while having enough core mechanics to chew on so that longtime fans will be satisfied too. January 13th is when Garden Warfare will erupt on PlayStation. Just make sure you've got your mushrooms in order for then. Fresh off its open beta on PS4 and 5 back in August, WINDJAMMERS 2's disc-throwing delights return by way of a full release this January 20th. Complete with the same colourful art style and affection for all things 90s as seen in the original sports arcade classic, this looks to be the rare case of a long-awaited sequel that may indeed live up to the hype. Turns out that not all that much has changed 25 years on, as you must still try and shoot your disc into your opponent's goal zone using all kinds of offensive and defensive play tactics. One thing that is new in WINDJAMMERS 2 though is the number of playable characters, as new additions like Max Hurricane, yes you heard me correctly, and Sammy Ho each tout their own unique speed and attack benefits. This is alongside returning players like Gary Scott and Jordi Costa, letting players dominate the disc court either as a reliable all-rounder or someone who's a bit more specifically gifted. Coming complete with local and online multiplayer, as well as a fun-to-conquer arcade mode for single players, WINDJAMMERS 2 slapshots its way onto PlayStation this January 20th. Also shooting its way onto PS4 and PS5 this January 20th is the next installment into Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise, albeit one with a boatload of parasitic aliens added. Because of this, the Siege spin-off places far more emphasis on strict PvE play, in which squads of operators must work together and make use of each's unique skills in order to complete objectives and extract the necessary intel and samples. Extraction arrives at a time where cooperative shooters are having a bit of a comeback on PlayStation currently. That said, we know that the core mechanics of Rainbow Six are solid, and therefore it promises to bring a smattering of tight gunplay to the format. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction has had a bit of a rocky development cycle, originally being subtitled Quarantine before being renamed for obvious reasons. Since then, however, the plight of these operators to decimate the Archaean menace has been retooled to offer a deep cooperative shooter experience. It's the operators you know transported to a totally different environment. How will they cope under the stress of trying to make it out alive? Find out when Extraction launches on PlayStation this January 20th. If you're wanting your tactical itch scratched even more so on PlayStation this January, you needn't look any further than REVERIE Knights Tactics. Launching on PS4 this January 25th, it's an isometric turn-based RPG that demonstrates shades of, say, Final Fantasy Tactics, but infusing it with a story-driven visual novel adventure where every decision you make can alter events. This journey throughout the mystical land will see you deploy smart battle strategies, gain all-important skills, and build up your very own eclectic party of heroes. It shouldn't be hard to stay engrossed in Reverie Knight's fantasy world thanks to its attractive hand-drawn art style, which makes exploration and travelling across the map all the more intriguing and something to look forward to. When you do clash with enemies and the time does come to battle, it's up to you to react to your opponent's strategy, using the specific strengths of each party member to stay multiple steps ahead of that action. It's a smaller title, sure, but one primed to offer deep strategy. REVERIE Knights Tactics lands on PS4 on January 25th. If you're someone who thinks back fondly to those childhood days of getting your Scalextric set out and watching cars whiz around your homemade track for hours on end, you might be interested in this next indie treat. Circuit Superstars is a cutesy top-down racer that may have already graced other platforms, but January 27th is when it speeds its way onto PS4, bringing with it lashings of charm and lots of chaotic toy-like sensibilities. This is a driving game built by racing fans for racing fans, and the results really do speak for themselves. Each race in Circuit Superstars sees a max of 12 drivers compete to be the first over the finish line, accounting for such outside factors like tyre wear, fuel level and vehicle damage. Managing this means racing effectively, which is just as essential to winning heats as learning all of Circuit Superstars' many tracks. It's clear that a lot of love has gone into making this game a tightly knit love letter to racing, and you can discover how successful it's been, solo or in either online or split-screen multiplayer, when Circuit Superstars comes to PS4 on January 27th. Do you know your advantage lines from your ankle taps? Odds are, if you do, you'll be intrigued and excited for RUGBY 22's release on PS5 and PS4 this January 27th. It's your chance to play as all the top nations and best clubs to appear in the sport, in what hopes to be the most realistic simulation depiction of rugby yet. Who knows, with the power of PS5 behind it, it may actually succeed. And after all, it has been 2 full years since the appropriately titled RUGBY 20 released, so there's a lot of pressure on this game's shoulders to deliver. Gameplay in RUGBY 22 has been almost completely overhauled, with publisher Nacon incorporating player feedback from past titles to bring an added authenticity to iconic teams like France, Italy, and of course the All Blacks. The game will also boast more realistic AI, a flexible difficulty curve that will be able to adapt according to the skill level of players, alongside star player faces that are much more lifelike and recognisable. If that sounds good to you, look forward to scoring many a try on January 27th when Rugby 22 releases. And rounding us off for the month of January is of course Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection on PlayStation 5. This 1-2 punch of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and Uncharted Lost Legacy will launch on January 28th, bringing with it fully remastered versions of both games that aim to make the most of the improved visuals PlayStation 5 consoles can achieve. These two Naughty Dog hits already looked drop-dead gorgeous before, so we can't wait to see what both look like running natively on a PlayStation 5. Doing so either requires you to purchase the new collection outright, or you can upgrade the PS4 version of either game if you already own it. The Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection will offer 3 distinct modes at launch in Fidelity, Performance and Performance Plus. The games are sure to look stunning in any of these, but the option to play the games in either 4K 30, 60 or even 120 FPS for those with TVs that can support it is a much welcome addition. You can consider us jealous of anyone who gets to experience these for the very first time on PlayStation 5, as the Legacy of Thieves collection is sure to present both A Thief's End and Lost Legacy in the very best light. Luckily, we don't have much longer to wait, as it releases on PS5 this January 28th. So there you have it guys, in terms of all the biggest games coming out on PlayStation in January 2022. Maybe a month that is a tad more slim pickings compared to the usual gamut, but I promise you there are still big things, especially for PlayStation, lying ahead in store. What game are you most looking forward to playing in January? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And then when you've done that, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and consider maybe even subscribing to the Push Square YouTube channel for everything else PlayStation related. But until then, I want to thank you as ever so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.